Hi guys, I'm going to show you the wow factor of the foundation that I use by only doing half of my face in this tutorial. So I've got my skin prepped, and all I do since I'm oily before you get started is cleanse and tone my face in the morning, and then I apply my hyaluronic acid, which I use from PCA Skin, and then my, oh goodness, it's Skin Medica, and it's their, I believe it's the vitamin C serum. So I use that, and then I go in with my Super Goop Unseen sunscreen for my sun protection, because the foundation that I use does not have an SPF in it. So I need that protection on my face, especially because I have melasma and I've gotten it under control for the most part. This is actually the best it's ever looked during the summer in these hottest months here in Arizona. So, and that's a combination of a lot of things. So if you guys are struggling with melasma, I would recommend finding a good esthetician that can get you on some sort of regimen or just using good products. But unfortunately, you're going to have to spend some money if you want to get that tamed down and under control, because it takes high quality products. So first thing I'm going to start with now is priming my eyes. This is Ulta's matte eye primer. Love this stuff. So I always use an eyeshadow primer, no matter what, no matter how wonderful the eyeshadows are. So I'm just putting this all over my lid, all over everywhere on my eye right now, because that helps the colors to stay throughout the day and not kind of blend together, especially if you're oily. But it also really makes the brighter colors pop and makes them brighter. So I always start with this, and I just went in on both sides because I'm gonna have to do the other half of my face eventually, right? I can't just walk around with half a face of makeup. Well, I could, but I might get a few weird looks. So what I'm gonna start with, if you guys aren't familiar, I use Mascara BB's makeup. Everything I use is in this compact for my face. So I could fit literally everything, my eyeshadows and everything in this compact. Sorry for how disgusting it is. Usually I clean it before this, but obviously, So I have my bronzer, which this right here is an Illuminator. I like to use these together, so I obviously brush my brush into that for my bronzer. I toggle back and forth between a couple different contours, just depending on the look that I'm doing. And then these are my highlights, which I'm gonna need to replenish soon. So a little bit of this goes a long way. They're all cream-based. Here's a few lip and cheek colors that I like to use for both my lips and my cheeks, so I just keep them in that side. These are the blush colors I use most commonly in the second layer, and then in this third layer, I've got my Illuminators, which is almost every Illuminator that we have. So mostly creams here, and then I do have a few powder Illuminators in here as well. I normally recommend keeping your powder and your creams separate in these palettes, just so that the powder doesn't get into the cream, but they're Illuminators, so I really don't mind if some of that gets in there, and that's why I keep my eyeshadows in a different one. So there are all size compacts. You can customize every palette completely to you. So this is another good double-decker size that you can put everything in. So if you're not a junkie like me, you can literally fit everything into this one single compact for your whole face, which is pretty darn amazing. So what I'm gonna do first, and I have to remember that I'm only doing one side of my face right now, is I'm gonna go in and conceal. So this color is my main highlight color. And by highlight and contour is HAC, H-A-C. That's what we refer to in the mascara world as your foundation, as your highlight and your contour. So we're gonna go in with the both of those and then blend them together, and that's what makes your foundation. And I'm always starting by concealing my eyes. Mine aren't, I do have some darkness underneath, and the yellowness in the yellow base in this color, as you can see, helps to conceal that really well. So I don't need an additional concealer for that. So that's just my first step after I do my eye primer. And then I'm gonna go in with, I'm just gonna do one layer today. So contour, I'm gonna contour with this brush. This is the Detail Hack brush, double-ended. So this side is what I use for contour. This is gonna be anything a little more detailed, and you could actually apply what I just did with this side of the brush here. And then I'm gonna go into Indigo. This one looks really dark, and it's gonna look really dark when it goes on. So to apply my contour, I want to find this right underneath my cheekbone. I don't want to go where it's the complete hollow right there. I want to go right where I start to feel the end of that and just follow that line. No further in. I like to just keep it to the edge of my eye there, but you don't want to bring it too far in. And then with this brush, I like it because the flat, dense part of it, this side here, makes it easy to push the contour into that area, but also push up too. So the purpose of contouring your cheekbone is to lift, and that's why I'm pushing up with that end there. I'm not gonna worry about blending this. I want it dark because these creams blend out really well, so I want it to look like I'm painting by numbers right now. And then I'm gonna go in my hairline here. And the reason I'm doing half a face is so that you guys can see what the highlighting and contouring actually does, especially as I go. You can see it brighten, you can see it lift, you can see it sculpt. It's really amazing. And then my jawline, just taking that right underneath here. A trick with the jawline contour, well, not a trick, but the reason we do it is to define that jawline and that bone structure. And if you have jowls, you're gonna wanna come up across that a little bit. So what that does, what the contour does is pushes certain features back to hide them. So see how that defines it? That defines my cheekbone. And that's why it's important to get your contour in the right place. If you put it too low, it's just gonna look like you have a piece of mud on your face. And if you put it too high, it's gonna be kind of awkward. So that's why you wanna find right at the edge of that cheekbone and go there. And then I'm also going to take the edge of this brush and contour right down the bridge of my nose here. Just not completely on the side, not completely on top, just creating a little bit of a shadow there. And then you can already see how that straightens that side, and it also kind of slims my nose a little. So you can see how it looks a little slimmer on this side, right? Now I'm gonna switch brushes. These are my two favorite. You can do this with one brush, which is called our Buffy brush. So you don't need to have multiple brushes, and all of ours are double-ended, but these two are my two favorite for doing foundation application. So now I'm gonna dip the smaller side of this brush into my main highlight color. So your highlight and your contour is what I would need to help you with. You do not want to guess on that because these look very different in your skin than they do in the tin. And if chances are, if you go online and try to guess, you're gonna pick the wrong color. So that's what I am trained to help you with, and to know how these colors go on and what to look for in your skin tone to be able to get you in the right colors. So what I'm doing now is just going around those areas that I contoured with my highlight color, and a little bit of product goes a long way. Since I'm oily, I like to stipple. Right here I didn't because I kind of want to chisel out that line that I did for my contour, right? And I'm not going over my contour with this. I'm painting by numbers and putting this everywhere I did not contour just now. And you'll notice, I'm sure you have noticed, it looks a little more yellow than my skin tone, but that's okay. Yellow cancels redness, which a lot of us have in our skin. And when it blends, you'll see just how beautifully it blends with my skin. So I have a light layer of both right now. And let me just, it's kind of hard to do half my nose here. So I'm gonna just bring this down the bridge. There we go. Clean that up. And then next, I'm going to blend it out, and then I'm gonna go in with a brightening highlight under here, and you'll see what that does in just a second. So I have my Perfector sponge, and it's damp. You don't want it dry, and you don't want it soaking wet. You want it damp. So get it soaking wet so it doubles in size to this. Squeeze it out in a paper towel, and that's perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is blend my highlight into my contour, and this is where I get that 3D foundation. That's where the name comes from. And this also helps to push the product into your skin just enough so it is like a second skin. Okay, so see how scary that was and how it looks now and how it blended is pretty amazing. Now I'm gonna go in with that same side of the brush that I just applied my main highlight with, and I'm gonna go in with a highlight that's 2 or 3 shades lighter than that one to brighten in this triangle underneath my eye. And this is where I was saying that you could use the smaller end of that first brush that I used to do this too. Look what that did. That not only lifted, brightened, and just made me look so much more awake, but it just brought the attention right there to the center of my face, which is almost like creating that artificial light, like when you get photos. And then I'm gonna do that. So when I'm not doing half my face, it's gonna be the center of my forehead, the center of my chin, underneath both eyes, obviously. And then I'm gonna also take this right down the bridge of my nose. And then I'm gonna go back to my sponge to lightly blend that. Isn't that crazy? Look at the difference there. So this just looks so much more lifted and sculpted, and this side just looks tired. So that's why I love this stuff. It's so good. And you can't feel it on your face because it's cream, it moves with your face and it doesn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles and crack like a normal liquid or powder foundation does. If it does settle, like I'll get some settling underneath my eye here in these fine lines, and I just do that, good to go. It's so awesome. So with blush, let me show you that real quick. I'm gonna go in with this fun color called Ruby right here, and I'm gonna use my finger for this one. This one's really, really pigmented, so you want to be careful, but if you get too much, it's totally fine because it's easy to fix. This is the most forgiving makeup you'll ever use. So I'm gonna smile to pop the apple of my cheek right there, and I'm just gonna place this right there with my finger. And then I'm gonna go back to my perfector sponge. Using the larger side, I'm gonna blend this out. So this sponge is gonna be your best friend if you end up putting too much product on, because it's going to remove just enough and blend it out beautifully. Or you could always go back in with the brush you used for your highlight and think of that as like sort of like a magic eraser, so you can blend that a little bit more. Look at that. Isn't that, so that was cool. So take a look again at what that color looked like in the tin and what it actually looks like when it's on and it's blended out. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Illuminator, which is my favorite part. Love this part. I like to use my sponge to apply this. So I just press it on the end there and then apply it. I'll show you where to apply it. So my two favorites right now are Rose Gold and Dolce. Dolce will be discontinued in the US. So if there's any left, go snag some up. So I'm getting that on my, and you're not gonna really see it on here, getting it in Rose Gold first and then getting Dolce on there. And what you're gonna do is apply that right here on the top of your cheekbone, right above where you put your blush. And then I take it up my temple just a little bit. So just like a J right there. And I love, love, love this stuff. So I like to go a little bit crazy. And what this does is just adds that dewy glow to your face. So right now it might not look like I did anything, but look when I turn my head, when the light catches it. So it's super subtle, but so pretty. And then I like to add a little bit to the tip of my nose and then Cupid's bow here, which Cupid's bow, I usually go in with my ring finger here to just almost like I'm lining the outer part of my lips just to create a little bit more of a pout. And then another trick too, to make your bottom lip appear a little bit poutier, is to go in with a little bit of your contour right in the center there, and then just blend that out. So you see how that creates a little bit of a shadow there? So that's my foundation. I'll just have to do my eyes and stuff there, but look at the difference side by side. So let me cover this up for you here. Let me show you this beautiful new compact. This one's called Sistine. So there's the side that we just did with the foundation, and then my tired side. So this is like having a Photoshop filter. Just look at the difference, how everything is so much more alive and lifted on this side. So if you guys would like any help picking any colors for your custom compact, DM me or click the link in the drop down description. Thanks for watching, guys.